There aren't many children who don't love receiving a new toy, but for the parents and carers of children who struggle to communicate, those toys can have extra significance. The range of specialist equipment out there can really make a difference when it comes to helping that child's development, or just help to create some happy, calm moments in a really hectic day. But it rarely comes cheap. So when the families in our next story placed their orders with one particular company, they were usually making what retail experts might call a considered purchase. It's just a shame that the people selling these disability aids were much less careful when it came to fulfilling their side of the bargain.
All right, standing up. Push,
In Bracknell, Berkshire, 3-year-old Jensen is learning how to walk for his second time.
Hang on to it. There's your hand up.
He used to ride a bike. He was on a balance bike in the garden, liked to water the plants. He used to enjoy going to preschool, learning.
In November 2017, sadly, Jensen was diagnosed with a brain tumour.
Your little boy's playing with cars, with the nurses, and he's laughing, he's just having a nice time, and you've been told this news in a separate room. It was just very heartbreaking, to be quite honest.
Despite surgery going well, Jensen lost much of his mobility and muscle tone, meaning he couldn't speak, walk, or even sit up.
It was the worst time of our lives, to be quite honest. I get emotional talking about it.
1, 2.
After 8 weeks in hospital, followed by 4 months at the Children's Trust, where he underwent intense rehabilitation, in May 2018, Jensen at last returned home, and the family is trying to do as much as they can to ensure his recovery continues.
He's very determined and focused. Yes, he is. He's making steady progress. But he really wants to walk. That's his goal. And he's going to do everything he can, and so am I, to help him do that.
Well, to help Jensen further, Kimberly was advised to invest in a series of sensory aids, including what's known as a bubble tube, like the one he'd had at his rehabilitation centre.
I felt the bubble tube would be important. It was something that he could get a lot of enjoyment out of, and it was very relaxing. I found he fell asleep a lot when he used to watch it at the rehabilitation centre.
But equipment like this comes at quite a cost. So to make things easier, Kimberly was encouraged to start up a Just Giving page to raise some money to help with his rehabilitation. And the response from friends and family was huge.
I felt very humbled, and it was very pleasing. Jensen was just happy. He was just very, very pleased that so many people were wishing him well, and that made me feel good.
With the money they raised in August 2018, Kimberly was finally able to order the bubble tube she wanted. Apparently specialising in providing this kind of equipment, the company she found boasts of fast delivery, with orders dispatched on the same day. Kimberly paid £347.99 for the bubble tube, and with that promise of fast delivery, she was looking forward to having it well in time for Jensen's birthday a fortnight later.
I felt with Jensen it was more a blessing that he reached his 3rd birthday. He had such a tough battle, and there were times where you think you're going to lose him. He's not going to be here.
But as the days went by, despite the website's assurance of swift dispatch, Kimberly neither heard nor received anything from the company. And with Jensen's birthday fast approaching, she repeatedly tried contacting it for answers, with, I'm afraid, no response.
You'd have to start your day, must email this company, see whether we're going to get the bubble tube today. No reply. Let's try the phone. No reply. Okay, so then it kept happening every day.
Jensen's 3rd birthday arrived, yet the bubble tube didn't.
I felt very guilty that using this money for a really good purpose and making it really great for my son, it then turned horribly wrong. And I didn't know if I was going to get my money back either.
Then in September, a month after placing the order, Kimberly finally received a response from the company. stating it was chasing her order with a supplier and it would offer a further update in 1 working day. But the update never came.
I filled out countless forms, online forms, saying why I wanted a refund, and nothing. Nothing was answered. I just couldn't believe why they'd be so ignorant and callous. Just mean.
Wow.
After almost 5 weeks without any sign of the bubble tube, Kimberly gave up, claiming the money back from her credit card provider. She went on to order a bubble tube from a different company and received it within 3 days.
I was so relieved. It's the end of a project. It was a big project to me. It became massive, and to get the end product here up and running and my son's enjoying it, massive tick off the list. And the more he uses it, the more relaxed he gets. I think for me it's a big plus.
Kimberly isn't the only Rip-Off Britain viewer to get in touch with us after attempting to make a purchase from the same company. Kay Partridge from Devon also tried ordering a sensory bubble tube, in her case for her respite care centre, and again at a cost of £347.99. But 6 weeks after placing the order, she hadn't received it, and she couldn't get any answers from the company either.
I rang them and rang them and rang them, and the phone just kept ringing. No one answered. There was no answer machine for it or anything. And not hearing back from a company that you've spent a lot of money with is really, really frustrating. It's just, it makes you panic. It makes you worry. The lack of communication made me think that it was a scam. I thought I'd been scammed. I thought there's no product to begin with.
Kay threatened to report the company to trading standards, and that did the trick. 5 days later, a parcel was left in her front garden. But that wasn't the end of her woes.
There were parts missing that were integral to making the machine work. So in the end, I left the matter because I just thought it's not worth my time and money to be chasing it. They're not going to resolve anything. They're not going to pick up the phone. They're not going to answer their emails back.
Hilary Chadwick from Cumbria also received goods from the same company that were far from perfect.
I bought a tablet. When I took it out the packaging, I could immediately see it wasn't brand new because it had a scratch screen and it had finger marks all over the screen.
Like Kimberly and Kay, Hilary also found the company's customer service to be severely lacking.
I tried to contact them several times. Nothing came. I asked them if I could have something, a returns label so I could return the item and get my money back. I got nowhere with it.
Well, the complaints we've heard appear to be just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole string of negative comments about the company on social media. And out of 21 reviews on Trustpilot, 20 of them are bad. And as a company consumer expert, Martyn James from Resolver is very much aware of after he says it failed to deliver a purchase that he made last year.
I've had some personal experience with this company because I actually ordered some goods from them for my niece who has a severe disability. And it was only after ordering the items and them not turning up that I realised that something was very wrong.
When the item didn't arrive, Martyn had to follow his own advice for a change.
I got on the phone to my bank and arranged for what's known as a chargeback, which is where your bank charges back the money into your account because goods or services haven't been provided.
Martyn comes across plenty of complaints about this company in his professional capacity as well.
The types of complaints that we generally see about this particular business are the failure to provide the goods, failure to respond as well. It's very difficult to get hold of them, certainly on the telephone. You can only email through their website. It's very confusing. And we've also had some concerns about the quality of the goods that have been provided.
When we contacted the company, it told us that it was saddened to hear of Kimberly, Kay and Hilary's experiences. It accepted that its service didn't meet the standard it expects, but said the number of complaints was small compared to the large number of orders it fulfills every year. It blamed the problems with the bubble tube that Kimberly and Kay bought on the manufacturer and said it had suspended all sales with one supplier until it had received reassurances about its delivery timescales. In Hilary's case, it said it had given her advice about her tablet screen at the time and had not heard back from her since. It insisted it did have proof it had delivered Martyn James's order, but said it couldn't comment further due to ongoing court action it has brought against him. It blamed many of its problems on outsourcing its customer service team and said that because of this, it had recently brought this team back in-house to make it more efficient and user-friendly for both its customers and staff. It dismissed the negative Trustpilot reviews, saying it believed that many of them were fake or invalid. And it added that any unhappy customers should email it directly and it would do everything it could to resolve their questions. But if you have similar problems with an online retailer not responding to your messages after taking your cash, Martyn James suggests following the advice that worked for him.
First things first is to contact your bank or card provider and ask them to charge back the money. This will get the money back into your bank account if it can be established the firm has breached its contract with you. It's worthwhile bearing in mind as well that if you buy goods online, as you do with this website, then you have a 14-day period where you can change your mind without having to give a reason. You simply need to put a refund request through.
And while Kimberly says the company caused her nothing but stress and frustration, she's at least delighted that the bubble tube she finally managed to buy is having a positive impact on Jensen's recovery.
We have regular appointments to see the eye doctors, and they have noticed a very good improvement in how he focuses and how he can almost look up without falling over. We're not quite there yet, but we know that that tube has got something to do with that.